Tony, thank you for returning and talking about, well, another franchise. That being this time Dumb and Dumber and Dumb and Dumber 2, although spelled inaccurately, but I'm sure that was by intention.
Oh, yeah. And then, are we going to talk about When Harry Met Lloyd?
No, but I'm glad that you asked because I have devised a an interesting video of non Jim Carrey starring, but Jim Carrey continuing, or in this case, reverse storytelling, Jim Carrey related films.
Okay.
So, earlier in the year, I did an all or nothing for Ace Ventura, and the second one. Then, obviously, now we're doing Dumb and Dumber, and then in September, I will release a The Mask review. And after that, I'm going to do When Harry Met Lloyd, Son of the Mask, and Ace Ventura Jr. Video combination of all of these non Jim Carrey but Jim Carrey adjacent films, while also in that week talking about how all three of these films got spin-off animated series. Yeah, that's why that film doesn't fit in this particular video, is because Jim Carrey's not in it, although Jim Carrey is the reason it exists. Or, this film is why that film exists.
Okay.
Or these films are, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're connected but unconnected via the specific person that is making the other videos happen.
I would say that they're connected only by story.
100%. But yeah, so that's why I left out the prequel, is because I was going to merge it with two other films that fit very similar in concept.
Okay.
I've been told by a friend of mine that I will regret this decision because he has watched Son of the Mask specifically and told me that he, well, you're not gonna be happy that you chose this, but I'll be honest. There are times when I actually like watching bad things just for the change of pace.
Well, sometimes it's fun to watch just a horrible movie and just laugh.
Exactly. And knowing it's like, if it was a shock, right? If I had no idea, and then I went and watched something and it surprised me, I'm like, okay, that sucks. But now, because I know, at least I'm prepared.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Harry Met...
Yeah. No, and the other thing is,
that's all I can say.
I don't actually plan on subjecting anybody else to this plan of mine, because I know
it's bad.
Right. Well,
same with Son.
Exactly, and like I said, I know what to expect, so that's why I'm not even asking anybody to join me. I'm just taking this trip all by myself.
The only one that I haven't seen is Junior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't watched it either. Well, to be honest though, the only one of the three I have seen is When Harry Met Lloyd, because I didn't know any better at the time.
We're just gonna leave that alone, and we'll talk about
I think
that.
That is for the best. But the original film, Dumb and Dumber, I can thoroughly recall from my original viewing being on the fence about certain things, because I'm not a fan of bathroom humor.
Okay.
And the thing that stood out most to me was that specific
the bathroom scene.
It stuck with me strong. But what I did for both of these movies that I don't normally do for anything was instead of taking straight exact notes, I took funny, not funny notes. I said, oh, I like this, or I don't like that.
Well, something that's funny with that is I remember watching Dumb and Dumber, as a kid.
Of course, yeah.
And back then, it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's kind of like, eh.
Sure, yeah. Well, and that's something that I feel like I wrestle with all the time. I don't know if I've ever not been me. Like, I know I've been smaller, I've been thinner, but I've never my taste very much has stayed similar in the, like I said, the in my younger days I wasn't a fan of specific humor, and now I still would rather not. I prefer, I guess, thoughtful humor over like I said,
crass.
the crass. There we go.
I'm trying to think of the nicest way to say it.
I think that's the perfect word for it, because the list of funny not funny actually came from one of my favorite comedies. Except in that movie, it's is your life a comedy or a drama? And so Will Ferrell goes ticking each column to see, well, am I in a comedy or am I in a drama? So he isn't saying it's funny or it's not funny. Well, he kind of is, because the drama is his not funny things, but it's called Stranger Than Fiction.
Well, but then also, what was it, back in the day, a comedy wasn't necessarily funny.
Yeah, that's true too. It's interesting, the evolution of verbiage throughout time. But yeah, like I said, I can recall watching Dumb and Dumber, like you said, as a kid or very, very young, regardless of my exact age. Because I would assume the odds are I didn't watch it the year it came out, but somewhere thereabout. Probably like VHS got released type time frame.
It would have to be, that came out in 93, 94?
Something like that. I got it written down.
I can't remember off the top of my head, which is kind of weird.
But yeah, I'll pop it up the exact year that it released, but I
want to say I was close to being a teenager when I saw it.
Okay. So, yeah, I think that's actually a good entry point, probably.
It is. But I was watching Mel Brooks.
Okay.
Way before that.
There you go.
Monty Python. That humor I was introduced to more than the crass humor.
Yeah, which I think is actually good. That's a good thing. I think.
I'm a firm believer that a lot of movies can't be made now.
True.
Because of, just commentary on it.
Yes.
But, we're getting way off topic on that.
Of course.
But
Well, even these two films, with them having such a vast chasm between releases, were interesting, the different things that the creators chose to highlight or not highlight, and I think that might actually be part of what caused the gap, is the not knowing what's the right thing to touch on.
They pulled a lot from the first movie. Like the storyline sounds really familiar.
Oh yeah,
they're both going on a trip to deliver something.
Yes. Yeah, oh yeah, no, it's there are a lot of hey, you remember that thing you like happening throughout the movie.
What is the second most annoying sound in the world?
Exactly, yeah, that's a prime example.
They rolled with some of the better things in the second movie from the first. I think that Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels play really well off of each other.
Shockingly so. Like, normally I think of Jeff Daniels as a serious type of fella, but this shows his absolute range. And
of course it does.
As a tease to an upcoming video, Jeff Daniels, it was in a documentary I watched called Super/Man: The Christopher Reeve Story.
I haven't watched that yet.
Okay, so
I heard that it's supposed to be fantastic.
It is surprising, is what it is, because I would assume you generally know Christopher Reeve's story, right?
Most people
do, exactly. Yeah. So that's not what caught me by surprise. It's so anything talking about him, I'm like, yeah, I'm with it. I got this. I know what's what. But there's a twist to the documentary where they reveal things about his wife that I didn't know, and And then they go so in depth with the family storyline that I'm like, oh my goodness, this is heavy stuff. But like I said, Jeff Daniels, Robin Williams, Christopher Reeve, all these folks, they were classically trained. They were friends, and so like there were so many talking heads. Obviously, Robin Williams isn't in that documentary,
Exactly.
but my point is there's so many talking heads that it's like, wow, it helps you understand these characters or real people and their character. I mean, and yeah, no, I look forward to that releasing and seeing Jeff Daniels in that documentary along with a couple of Robin Williams ones I've watched were, it was nice to see him in real life, if you will.
I think that's really hard for a lot of people. They see their favorite actors, actresses in a certain niche,
whichever way it goes. I knew what you meant.
They're pigeonholed.
Yes.
Typecast for a certain way, and then when you see
George Reeves suffered from the black and white era Superman, where that even when he got cast in a serious role in the theater, people could only see him as the television's Superman.
Exactly. Same thing. That's happened with so many different actors and actresses.
Oh, for sure.
And people can't differentiate that. And when you actually see them as the person that they are, it's like, what?
Yeah, I think Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels are both good at branching out and making choices that accentuate all of their abilities. Because Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind comes to mind when I speak on that with Jim Carrey, because he is, within the context of that story, nothing like what the traditional or stereotypical Jim Carrey is.
Well, the stereotypical Jim Carrey is the goofball, almost slapstick comedy.
Oh yeah, the being able to morph your face into any kind of
unnatural expression, the expressive face that he has.
Yeah, which is in and of itself very impressive.
Oh, and the ability to manipulate his voice, his pitch, and everything. That is the quintessential Jim Carrey. And then when you see him in a really good role that has none of that, you're like,
yes, exactly.
Okay, like he can do more than that. Like,
yeah, like I said, I remembered the parts of the movie I didn't like so vividly that I was pleasantly surprised by all of the bits that I forgot, and then I was like, oh, that is good stuff right there.
And you go, oh yeah.
Like Jim Carrey being so smitten with the lady, and he runs in to grab her briefcase that she forgot in his mind, was something that was just like, that isn't just good in Dumb and Dumber. That is a good setup for anything when somebody is consumed with an infatuation, that you blind yourself to the reality of what else could be happening. And I mean, and that simple mistake leads to everything that is to come. And I just think that's so funny that it's
and they use that really well in the second movie.
Okay.
Because Jim Carrey's character, became infatuated with
the thought to be daughter.
Yeah. And it's one of those.
I actually really enjoyed the reveal of the fact of the parentage, if you will.
That was funny.
Yeah, because up until the reveal, I didn't understand the relevance of the friend we didn't know. But as soon as it was revealed, I was like, oh, okay. I like it when things make sense. Good job, guys.
Oh. And then afterwards, and they're like, ah.
Thank you for being here at Mr. Super Oz. This video is going out, and this channel only exists because I, Oz, founded Gamble Comics, which first release was Everlasting Survivors, a 68-page graphic novel called All Day Long. Available now. Follow the link in the description that will take you to gamblecomics.com. While there, you can get hats, shirts, posters, much, much more. But most importantly, the story itself. No, that was, yeah, I think that was a highlight to me, was that specific reveal.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the first film, I loved the the restaurant scene where they bring back the guy who's trying to kill them, or like the whole like heart attack, the death, like that whole bit was ridiculous but well done.
Yeah.
And again, that gets its own secondary version with the boyfriend of the the hot young thing married to the old man.
Yeah,
so many.
I don't know how. I don't know if people have watched the movie, and I don't want to give away stuff. So it's
say whatever you want. That's always my approach. Is you're here watching, and we're far almost 15 minutes in. So if you're still watching, you don't care, because both of these things are far over a decade old. So it ain't gonna hurt nobody's feelings. And turn it off if you don't want to know what's what.
Well, I absolutely love the throwback to the Dogmobile.
Oh yeah,
Mutts and Cuts, I think is the name of it.
Yeah, I was surprised to see it return.
I was just like, oh. And then what happened? I went, oh. Because they tried the same exact thing and nope, didn't work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I thought that the first one was superior because so much of what made the second one amusing was it needing to lean on the first. And that's why that I gave the first film a 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was fine, and the second one a 2 out of 5, which was passable, like not great but not terrible. Because there was basically nothing about the second one except for the patriarch reveal. That even that though, I guess, doesn't really matter without the first film because you need to have the pre-established.
Well, you need to have the context.
Exactly, yeah.
And the fact that they even freely admit that 20 years have gone by. I think they say that within the first
real early
minutes.
Real early because of
the
Harry
nurses
pretending to be comatose.
Well, and then the nurses even comment in that opening scene like he's been here every day for 2 decades.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that was a little much, but you got to find a justification for why they've aged, I guess, is the excuse. Yeah. Oh, no. I'm not saying that makes it good. It was just trying to be as kind as possible.
Yeah. What gag or funny scene sticks out to you most in the first?
Like I said, the the hot pepper and the guy goes to the bathroom and comes back and he takes the bite.
Okay.
I thought that was it was a highlight for me because I don't know, I just thought that was like they were both selling it too. When he comes back, they're like pre-giggling before he even goes at it. I thought that whole dynamic between the duo of Harry and Lloyd and that guy, because they're like, oh, well, normally we wouldn't pick up hitchhikers, but you seem like the one, which is, just perfectly accurate for them.
For myself, I think it has to be the scooter montage.
Okay, yeah. I'm always a sucker for a montage.
I think that is probably the scene that will always stick out most to me, and not the crass bathroom slacks one.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of that one, but that scooter montage, is it crass a little bit?
Especially in the end with the frozen on boogers and whatnot. But no, I think it's far more subdued than the bathroom scene, and like you said, it's very memorable because they again, it's as dumb as they are, they're still able to get to the finish line, or in this case, the destination. And yeah, I think montages are something modern movies very much are forgetting are so helpful. Because so many times I'll be watching things that are like 2.5, 3 hours. I'm like, if you had cut this thing down and you get the same point across, just with a more brisk pace.
Well, perfect montage is Rocky. The training scenes.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah.
You know, you have like maybe a minute montage and then boom.
Fight night, yeah. No, they were so skilled. I mean, and that was what, 70 something, the first one, and each time they're just like, oh, yeah, we got this figured out. Formula has been figured out.
Hey, this works. We're gonna keep doing this.
I love it. Yeah. No, that's a great point.
And the second one, I don't think there was really a montage.
No, they
one.
let everything take its time, because again, I think that it's something people have forgotten the benefits thereof.
Yeah, there's a few spots that I could have easily gone. This could have been condensed. It's an hour 45-minute-ish.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
runtime. And just because the second one is so much more prevalent in my mind, and my wife has a few choice words to say about that. Sorry.
Oh yeah, for sure. No,
I subjected my wife to it.
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
It's Saturday. You get to pick the movie, and I went, I already know. You're gonna hate me.
Well, I appreciate you giving up your choice for the ability to have the conversation, because I recently have been struggling to want to do things for the channel. Now, it's just because talking to myself is not nearly as fun as talking with someone else.
Oh, exactly.
And so as soon as you said, oh, I'm down, I'm like, yes, this is going to be better than if I had to do it by myself. Because while I will make solo videos, because hitting the deadline to me is more important than anything else, because I self-impose that, I have so much more excitement and anticipation when I know that I get to hear someone else's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as another tease going forward on the channel,
She's just teasing it all out.
It's the ability to tell people that next Monday, will not be a movie review. It's the first Monday that I'm not reviewing a movie since Mondays have been for movie reviews, because I feel like I can only say I love the montage so much. Oh, that was a beautiful shot so much, or cut this, do that. Next week am debuting a concept that has been in the works for years.
Okay.
Where I am going to lay out how I would have made Batman 89 through 97, because clearly they didn't know they were going to make 4 films, right? We have 3 different Batmans. We have 2 Harvey Dents. Like, there's just so much inconsistencies. So now, there are certain rules to the game.
Okay.
The actors have to be acting actively at the time. Their age have to be appropriate. Like, it's not like I'm going to cast a 5-year-old to play a 35-year-old.
Okay.
But other than that, I can put actors in the role. They stay throughout the context of their storyline. Like, let's say, for instance, Harvey Dent, right? He's in the first film, he stays in the second, and he becomes a big villain in 3. It's the same actor throughout. Same with Batman. He's in the same actor in 89, in 92, in 95, and 97. Because that's pretty important that Batman be Batman. Yeah. And so, like I said, next week is, I think I called it Batman Reimagined, but it's the idea of using creativity to say what might have been, instead of just, because we've already on the channel talked about all 4 films. And so, as far as ratings and preferences and yada yada, I think that thing went over an hour. But
Oh, that could easily go longer than that.
Oh, exactly. I always just say, okay, this feels good, especially since I gotta throw a bunch of graphics up and change things up. When I crest the 20-minute mark, I'm always looking for the exit.
Like,
we good now?
Oh crap, we've almost been at this for 25 minutes.
Now, granted, the further we are from the day of release, the more likely I am to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But the closer we are to the day that it goes live, the more likely I'll be like, all right, and we're out. Because, again, it's a matter of hitting the deadline. But yeah, I not only had a great time recording that with Josiah, I just hope that it goes well because I'm going to do it again with Superman 78 to 87. The idea of reimagining the world. Now, granted, I think most of the cast of that quadrilogy, if you will, can stay. Like, I like Gene Hackman. I like Christopher Reeve. Like, it's not so much changing who's doing the roles, but what they're doing in the movies because I just think there's more lore in Superman that you could bring up than make-believe nuclear man that came out of nowhere.
Left field. They jumped the shark.
Exactly, 100%. But yeah, that's exciting. The idea of change and development and not repeating yourself, which is bringing us back to Dumb and Dumber and Dumb and Dumber 2. Because that's, I think, my biggest complaint about the second film is that it's just a rehash of the first and not as good.
Yeah, if you want to watch both, the best thing that you can do is watch them back to back.
Yeah, 100%.
And you'd be like, oh, well, that makes more sense now.
Yes, point of reference.
And be like, oh, okay. Well, it kind of feels like we just watched, a 4-hour-long movie.
Yes.
A single take, but hey, 20 years, right in between. But it feels like that the one thing that I do have to say, though, is on the second one, it does feel like that they picked up and just kept going where they left off.
Yes, because of the end of the first movie being the cause of the so-called coma.
Yeah, and the fact that they still do so well with each other.
Yeah, I think that they proved when you have chemistry, it's hard to lose it with that kind of gap between and being able to deliver with the relatability of the two Harry and Lloyd's guys.
That, and then also it's a testament to the actors themselves.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no doubt Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels are amazing at what they do.
That truly they are.
So, what is your score for Dumb and Dumber and then subsequently Dumb and Dumber 2?
I think I'm happy with your scores on that.
Okay.
Now, on your rating scale, does it pass?
Well, that's what
just a 2.5. That's why it's one of those.
So this is what I love about the pass score, is because I love that I can say you should pass on it or it just passed. Because I always use the two as either which way I feel like. I think, but realistically, I do think it just passed the test. Like you said, you watch them back to back and you get the point of it all.
It completely passes.
Yeah, exactly. But in no way does it do anything spectacularly. It's not like, oh, wow, that blew me away. No, it was just, it passed, It's my perspective.
It's a movie,
Yeah. So, no, I appreciate you coming.
Oh, not a problem.
Thanks a bunch. And thank you, Mrs. Tony, for suffering.
Sorry.
Because, no, I totally relate to that mindset because so often I'll say to my wife, I'll be like, this is coming, and she's like, but I don't want to watch that. I'm like, well, you don't have to, but I have to because it's the choice that I made.
So, unpopular opinion, this is my payback for The Lighthouse.
Okay, I don't know what The Lighthouse is.
Willem Dafoe, Patterson.
Oh, it's a movie based on a book.
No.
Who's Patterson?
He was the newest Batman.
Oh, that guy. Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson.
There we go.
That was close.
Yeah, I mean it's in the ballpark. Yeah, I didn't know this existed.
That movie,
Is it boring?
For me, it's mind-numbing.
Oh, okay.
Like, cinematography, everything about it, amazing.
Okay.
But I wanted to beat my head up against the wall.
Well, see, there you go. Fair is fair.